Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Coffee. And for those of you who do know me, I'm Coffee. Welcome back. First of all, I want to say thank you. My first video on indie games, which was on Hypnagogia Boundless Dreams, did a lot better than I thought it would, and seeing the positive reception further fuels my desire to play and highlight these games that I enjoy so much. So sincerely, thank you. For today's video, I will go much more into spoilers than the Hypnagogia video. My goal with these is to talk about these games while trying not to spoil too much of the experience, so that you still have a lot to look forward to when playing them. This time, I'm going to be talking about a game that takes around 2 hours to finish. So, since I'll still be showing footage of the game to get my points across, I will not be spoiling Easter eggs or things I consider secret in the game, which there are a few of. I won't be covering these because I think these things, although fun, they aren't essential to enjoying this entry, and for those of you who will play the game even after watching this, you'll still have something to look forward to if you're into that. I will also do my best to not spoil the puzzles, but to get the point across I will have to show some footage on them, so consider yourself spoiler warned. Without further delay, today I wanted to talk about Lake Haven Chrysalis is a very short and charming prequel game developed by Encrypt Games. According to the Steam store page, Chrysalis is a prequel chapter for their upcoming title, Lake Haven. Although Chrysalis may be a short experience, it serves more as an introduction for what's to come with Lake Haven's full release. In Chrysalis, you play the role of Detective Zeke Reynolds, who has been sent to investigate the wellness of a Kansas local resident, Eleanor Robertson, after she has seemingly gone missing after not answering her mail or phone calls for a period of 13 days. The game is heavily inspired in visuals and gameplay by the Silent Hill series. Artistically, it takes inspiration from the critically acclaimed 90s TV show Twin Peaks, as well as other works by David Lynch. The game plays like PlayStation 1 era Silent Hill, with its tank controls, fixed camera traversal, and a heavy emphasis on environmental puzzles. The game does have combat, but it's not as frequently used as in Silent Hill. I can't say this will be the case for the main game, of course, but it felt pretty refreshing to mainly focus on exploration and puzzles without having to fight my way to safety. After a short introduction sequence, which shows your character driving down a long country road late at night, you could even say it's
black as midnight on a moonless night.
We arrive at Eleanor's residence, and just like that, we are set free to explore. Although Chrysalis wears its inspiration on its sleeve, I need to stress that the game builds a strong identity of its own. Once you arrive at the property, you are hit with the sound of crickets, distant Kansas wildlife, and the occasional cicada. Though that one's hard to tell, it really just sounds like a distant scream, which further sets the tone of uncertainty for what awaits. Walking towards the house, you realize you're surrounded by tall wheat fields, as well as the property is, which makes it impossible to go anywhere but further in. The house itself doesn't look well maintained, and if it wasn't for the car out front, you would not guess it was lived in either. Tie in the pitch black darkness of the countryside, with the full moon looming over, ever present, and you have yourself an area that, although outside, with open skies, it feels almost claustrophobic. And this is just one example. Chrysalis has some beautiful environments and visuals, some that feel like a surrealist painting out of time and space, others showcasing impossible and unnatural structures that, even putting the supernatural threats aside, they still manage to unsettle me. I think Chrysalis does a great job with its many pieces to convey different feelings in each area you wander into. Apart from the horrors that await in the Kansas countryside, there are also moments of levity and serenity. While exploring the many areas in the game, You can interact with most of the items and furniture lying around. By doing so, you will get little quips here and there from Zeke. The things he says sometimes are downright silly, and I love it. Like this one, for example. Or this one. Sometimes when games cover a lot of grim subjects, or have very hostile environments, it's nice to throw in something to contrast the world design, or even to give the player some much needed respite, which brings me to my favorite room in the house. After traversing the house a few times, seeing a few things that unsettle even a well-seasoned detective, you find yourself in the house's main bedroom. As soon as you enter, this song plays. Walk a little further in, and you see one of the most beautiful cups of coffee I've seen in gaming. And it also doubles as a save station, which, yeah, I'm biased, but I love it. As much as the developers do a good job of unsettling the player with everything they throw at you, they are certainly capable of making you feel safe, and honestly, finding this room might have been one of my favorite moments while playing through. Chrysalis has a good mix of logic-based puzzles, as well as doing a great job of tying these into the environment. The game asks you to be observant as to not miss necessary items and clues, so make sure you're checking every nook and cranny. You'll have to think critically about where to use items and what to combine them with, and sometimes you'll notice environmental details like this Bible verse tucked away under the stairs, or numbers written on this painting. You wouldn't know it yet, but this will come in handy later in a really creative way. This might be my favorite style of introducing puzzle pieces to the player, just because of how clues are delivered to you in a way that's non-intrusive, and how it all comes together in the moment you most need it. The combat's pretty straightforward. You aim with the right bumper on your controller, much like Silent Hill, and you shoot with A. The shooting feels good. Coming from Silent Hill games, it feels really familiar, and I like how bullet casings just stack on the floor. It's a really tiny detail, but a neat one. Although Chrysalis doesn't force you to fight often, when it does, it serves as a nerve-wracking experience where you're forced to think on your feet and act accordingly. There are no melee weapons in Chrysalis as far as I could tell, and it does make sense with the game being short and all, but judging by the Silent Hill direction it has, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the future release. Alright, so anyone who's known me for even a little knows that I am a fan of the works of David Lynch, and most if not all Lynchian adjacent work, so it's kind of a given that I love Chrysalis, and I'm looking forward to the main Lake Haven release. The game offers a very familiar experience that I can't help but feel at home with. The puzzles and how they're structured have a real nice flow, and to top it all off, the environment and vibe I got from the game is something I won't soon forget. If you or a friend enjoys the Silent Hill series, you couldn't go wrong with this gem. I give this game a rating of, 13 damn fine cups of coffee out of 10. Hey, just wanted to pop in and say, thank you Encrypt Games for this gem of a prequel. I hope the Lake Haven development is going well, and thank you so much for watching. Until the next one.